To my woman India, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to pay my respects and honour the traditional owners of the land in which I'm actually sitting here today having a yarn to you, and honour their ancestors, the way that they looked after country for thousands of years, who are currently doing so and will continue to connect and do so into the future. I'd also like to honour each and every one of you who do your best every day to be Earth stewards, to look after Mother Earth, to actually take care of it, not just for her, but for us, for our generations to come after us. And ultimately, that's what Wayapa is about. So if this is your first YouTube video, I ask you to jump back and check out some of the other ones, or jump on our website, www.wayapa.com. You don't have to put the W's in. Wayapa.com. WAYAPA.com. We'll get you all the information. So I get asked all the time. But I'm not Aboriginal, I can't do Wayapa. Wayapa is an earth connection practice for all humanity, for all humans. It's based on, but not exclusive to, Australian Aboriginal culture. So it's based on ancient concepts of connectivity. It's about ancient concepts of not just the connectivity, but the responsibility. So it's all the Ility words or something like that. So it's about how you, as an individual, can look into your own past, way back there, and connect to your ancestors. At some point in time, I always say this, at some point in time, your ancestors lived like mine, in total harmony with the earth. They observed the seasons and the cycles. They knew when food sources, the movements of the migration of animals, the insects, everything was in perfect harmony with that knowledge. So how can we look at that knowledge in an ancient way, in an ancient concept, and bring it to a modern time? It's about understanding that we've become so far removed from our environment, from our Mother Earth. We're not caring for it. And look, yes, there's some amazing movements happening globally around protection and preservation of the environment. I was amazed to hear a politician the other day say, oh, we've got to stop putting the environment first and start thinking about the economics of it. It's like, oh man, that's just the most disconnected comment I've ever heard. And how we can actually, change that thinking, and it is the next generations we have to influence and we have to encourage to understand that you can't have an economy without an environment. It just doesn't work. It doesn't happen. So let's not destroy our economy. It's not to destroy Mother Earth for the sake of our economy. So it's actually that narrative. And what Wayapa does is it actually teaches tools and techniques and conversational starting points to actually encourage people, influence people to make the changes, switching over. Nothing is in isolation. I understand, and we've always talked about this in past videos, that there is a necessity and a need for resources. So if we want to have electric cars, we need resources to make those electric cars. Yes, fossil fuels won't be no more because sun, energy, wind, hydro from the oceans, not from rivers, so not damming up rivers, hydro from the oceans, it's all viable energy. Understand that there actually is, the need for resources, but it's actually managing those resources sustainably, not for the wealth and the benefit of this generation or even particular individuals' generations, but for all of humanity. How can we put a structure into place? Wayapa is a platform and a starting point for conversation starters and making change. It piggybacks on all the great work that all the other organisations are doing. Sea Shepherd, 1 Million Women. There's hundreds and thousands of groups that have started up, which is amazing. Wayapa is a way, it's a modality, so it's a meditation, movement and mindfulness practice that puts things into action. So it's about getting people who are disconnected and joining well-being and wellness to sustainability and action is what Wayapa does. So how can we do that on a global sense? How can we make that relevant on a global scale? So what Wayapa can do is it's about, you can share your own story with people, connect them to it. The 14 elements all have a global resonance. It doesn't matter where you're from on the planet, all of the 14 elements will relate to you. They will relate to you. They will relate to your ancestors. They'll relate to your history of where you come from, but they'll also relate to you where you are now. Doesn't matter. So it's about how Wayapa can connect us all on a global scale. It doesn't matter your race, your culture, your creed, your ethnicity, all those things that people want to put in there to divide us. At the end of the day, it's about honouring humans and humanity, and how we all breathe the same air, how we all, eat from the same food resources, how we all drink the same water that constantly is going, recycling itself for billions of years. So it's about looking at us as humans. So the environment, Wayapa as the environment. Wayapa means connect. Uruk means earth, environment, everything. So it's about how do we connect to that to make better changes. So it doesn't matter, like I said before, it doesn't matter if you're from Egypt or if you're from Australia or from Canada doesn't matter. Each and every culture at some point in time had an understanding of those 14 elements environmentally. So they knew the cycles and the seasons of the sun. At the moment here in Australia, Southern Hemisphere, we've just moved across the solstice into the summer solstice through the autumn equinox. I think I'm over in northern hemisphere. So we just moved across into through the autumn equinox, and we're heading into the winter solstice. So understanding those cycles and seasons, the changes, what those seasons will bring in the environment. Understanding, I was sitting here on the other day, I had a whole day planned out and it started to rain. I was like, rather than getting down about it, understanding that our ancient cultures had to live within that rain as well, what would they have done? Definitely would have needed it, fill up those rivers, water that environment out there. So all cultures had a concept of connectivity to the environment. Wayapa can be taught personally. So personally, doesn't matter who you are. I think there's 7.5 billion people on the planet. If you asked every one of those 7.5 billion people, how do you personally connect to the 14 elements of Wayapa? They'll be able to tell you. You will have your story about how you connect to Wayapa, that is yours. And then there's the resonance of culture. What are the cultural stories about the 14 elements? Again, it's the richness of our individualism. It's the richness of our collective as a culture. Within Australia, we had over 500 different languages. And within those language groups, we had our own different words for the 14 elements. It doesn't matter if you're from Sudan or from France or from Switzerland or from, Namibia. I'm throwing things out there. It doesn't matter where you're from. You've got your own word for the 14 elements. The sun, the moon, the land, the rain, the wind. You've all got your own words to it. But culturally, you would have had stories of how those things come to be, how they influenced our daily lives. So that is why Wayapa is good for the world. And that's why it's a little bit different. It's different than the other modalities because this is Asian, this is Indian, or this is Japanese, or this is Chinese, or this is for everybody. As an Aboriginal Australian, I put together Wayapa to honour not just my ancestors, but your ancestors. Your ancestors are connected to this environment, to this planet, for thousands of years. For us all. So Wayapa is to bring us all together as one, as humanity. Not to divide us, but to bring us all together. And then the template of Wayapa, the 14 elements, are for you to take and personalise to yourself, to your own environment, to your ancestors and to your culture. So that's how Wayapa can be achieved. I'd love to see one day my vision and dream that Wayapa is shared globally moving across the planet and people taking Wayapa and putting it into their own language, putting it into their own stories, connecting to the same movements in harmony, but putting Mandarin or French or any other language. There's millions of languages and I can't even think of one. So I'd love to see Wayapa do that, putting your own stories to it. So that's how Wayapa has a global resonance. So it's not just inclusive of Aboriginal people. It's not just it's not exclusive to Aboriginal people. It's inclusive of all of humanity. And this is how Wayapa, I believe, will help influence the people who are disconnected back over, because they will find a resonance in it. because Wayapa is them. Wayapa is you. We've got a few courses coming up. If you want to know more about Wayapa, we have an online introductory course on wayapa.com, and we've got a course coming up in Melbourne. So jump on our email list and we'll keep you up to date. We do a quarterly or a seasonally newsletter which is talking about the amazing work that our workers do out there. Big shout out to all our already accredited diploma, IICT accredited diploma people, what we call our workers. Got the play on words, workers. And shout out to those guys. They are amazing. They are made up of both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people, diverse backgrounds. You know, we have people who are doctors, we have people who are psychologists, we have people who work in kindergartens, we have people working in education, people working in the prisons. Wayapa is amazing, with little kids right through to elders and everyone in between. It's an amazing healing modality when we connect to it. So check us out, guys. Thanks so much for listening to the video. To all the thousands of people we've shared Wayapa with and have got so many benefits from it, how it's helped it heal. I'm honoured and privileged to be able to share this journey with you. A big shout out to the amazing Sarah Jones and the work that she does in all the back end stuff with Wayapa. I love doing videos with Sarah, so we'll be doing the next one together. It's always fun, so we'll talk to you all guys soon, and have a great day here in Victoria, Australia, just outside of Melbourne. It is an absolute cracker of a day. Now, it's not saying when it was raining it wasn't a cracker of a day, but we did a Wayapa session this morning out there in the sunshine, and the vitamin D really pepped me up and really made me really invigorated. So I don't know if you can see it, I'm a bit shiny here. I just had a workout before and I'm still a bit sweaty and shiny, so apologise for that. No makeup today, no makeup day for Damie. So thanks guys, sorry I rambled on too much. I'll talk to you all soon and I'll see you next week for the next video. Uruk, and see you later. It's not going to turn off. Bloopers on Wayapa.